Welcome to Earth Science. Today we'll be discussing the history of astronomy. Well, you'll soon discover that historically, people who believed that the sun was in the center of the solar system were arrested and imprisoned for the rest of their lives. Are you ready? Let's go. You should recall that astronomy means the study of celestial objects such as space, galaxies, and stars. The most important thing for you to learn is how science has changed the accepted view of our universe. And along with this, we're going to see some changes in technology, because without technology, studying space is pretty much impossible. Let's begin with the earliest civilizations. Stonehenge aligns with the summer solstice sunrise and the winter solstice sunset. The pyramids of Giza align with the 3 stars on Orion's belt. But although that's fascinating, all it really tells us is that ancient civilizations were interested in the universe. Moving forward, the Mayan, Babylonians, and Chinese used stars to tell time and align their cities. They also had soothsayers that would use the stars to predict the future, but that didn't always go well, especially if the soothsayer was, well, wrong.
Huh?
Observations of the sky at this time were done without telescopes or binoculars. People relied on what we call naked eye astronomy. Greeks and Romans were the first to record constellations. But as they're observing the night sky, they also noticed a few stars that moved oddly, backwards, or even in circles. They called these weird stars planan, which means wanderer, but you know them as the more modern name, planet. The Greeks and Romans named the planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Also, most everyone agreed that Earth wasn't a planet, so in general, nearly every language referred to the place that you live on as dirt. Which leads us to astronomers. Wait, nope. They were not called astronomers yet. They were actually called philosophers. Philosophers would typically stand in the middle of a city or on a street, just basically telling people what they thought about the world. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher. In his geocentric model, the Earth was fixed in the center of our solar system, and all the other planets rotated around us in perfect circular orbits. Rewind for a second here. Do you remember how planets move backwards and forwards? Well, this is known as retrograde motion, and it has to do with how the planets move in relation to one another out in the solar system. And you need to know this, because the next model for the universe is from
Ptolemy.
Ptolemy also believed in a geocentric universe, but to account for the retrograde motion of the planets, he made this model. Notice how the planets move in a circle within a circle within another circle? Okay, you've got it. His ideas were very popular. They were taught in schools for over 1,500 years. Seriously, we taught this for 1,500 years? This is crazy. Do you see that? Yeah, well, okay, I guess we did. Now Copernicus. Oh, he's an astronomer. He came up with the heliocentric, or sun-centered solar system. He even wrote a 40-page manuscript about it, which he only shared with his closest of friends. People who studied his ideas did so in secret and called themselves Copernicans. Truthfully, though, most people thought he was totally crazy. We've reached a part in history where people need to develop tools and technology to more fully understand the universe. And by universe, you should understand that so far right now, we're still inside our solar system. Moving forward to Tycho Brahe and his model, called the Tychonic model of the solar system, he worked closely with Johannes Kepler. Together, they used measuring tools called the sextant and the quadrant to make a detailed map of the positions of stars. Most importantly, these tools helped Kepler figure out that the planet's orbits are elliptical. With his telescope, Galileo observed the phases of Venus, craters on the moon, sunspots, the moons of Jupiter, and all of his observations helped further prove that our solar system is heliocentric. Galileo was extremely open about his ideas of a heliocentric universe. He actually presented this in lecture halls and in front of students, and most people didn't like what he had to say. So because of his promotion of heliocentrism, Galileo was arrested, convicted, and placed on house arrest for the rest of his life. The invention of the telescope and advancements in math changed astronomy significantly. Huygens discovered Saturn's rings, Cassini discovered a gap in Saturn's rings. Halley charted and correctly predicted the return of a comet. Herschel discovered the planet Uranus. Neptune was discovered by John Galilei using calculations from Urbain Le Verrier and John Adams. Sir Isaac Newton came up with the 3 universal laws of motion and the universal law of gravitation. He used these laws to support the fact that our solar system is in fact heliocentric. Now I know that's a lot, but what's most important for you to know is that heliocentrism was mostly accepted by the year 1822. At this point in time, humans made significant advances in telescopes, camera technology, all of which helped us see further and beyond our solar system. Fleming discovered white dwarf stars. Einstein discovered light is affected by gravity, which helped us figure out the distances between stars and planets. Hubble studied galaxies. His results led to Big Bang Theory. Tuskegee developed rocket fuel and multi-stage rocket design, and Mount Wilson Observatory was built. Rocketry opened up the ability for us to launch things into orbit. Telescopes in orbit find smaller objects, help us detect frequency and light changes, and help us find things further out in space. Hubble shows that galaxies exist outside the Milky Way. Tombaugh discovered Pluto. Sputnik was launched into space. NASA began. Armstrong and Aldrin walked on the moon. Hubble Space Telescope was put into orbit. Mars's Pathfinder landed on Mars. Construction began on the International Space Station, and new evidence found water on Mars. New Horizon sent back images from Pluto. Which leads us to today, where new observations and new technologies are constantly changing our view of the universe. Thanks for learning with me today. Put your questions in the comments, and until next time, it's your turn. Go out and learn.